Hello everyone, welcome to another video from Fantasy Football Scout. Just as a reminder, this video is sponsored by Uefa, which is exciting, and Just Eat as well. There's mini league code on the right if you haven't joined yet, and be sure to use the hashtags Euro 2020 and hashtag Eurofantasy when you're tweeting about all the hundreds of points you've got this week. I'm joined by Andy North at FPL Mode. How are you, Andy?
Yeah, very good, mate. I'm absolutely thrilled to have the Euros on. Obviously, it's been great watching it and keeping up with it and seeing some of the people we thought might do well actually doing well, which is always good as well. I was really good until I realised that you've beaten me by a point this week in the official Euros game.
Come on, and Gozens to go. It's going to be even worse when he gets 15 points tonight.
Yeah, like I said, you've beaten me by a point, mate.
he's one for the future. His old Gozens. I'm bringing him in game week, match day 3.
Yeah.
So anything he gets tonight is a bonus. Some people might be thinking, why the hell are they doing a stream when France and Germany are playing? It's because there is such a tight turnaround to the next match day that there's just no other time to do it, unless we were doing it at like midnight. I don't think either of us really wants to do that. So we're here. I'm not expecting huge amounts of people watching live. The 30 of you that are watching, fair play to you. Thanks for being here. So Andy, how are you liking the Euros? I really feel like it's living up to expectations. I've enjoyed almost every match, with the exception, of course, of Denmark versus Finland, and obviously massive sympathy to Eriksen. Glad to see that he's doing better today. I mean, that was absolutely horrible to watch, but every other game at least has been really exciting. Have you watched every game so far, or I guess you can't, right?
I've watched most games. I've watched the highlights of all the games that have been on while I've been in school. So the Scotland Czech Republic one, although I did watch 10 minutes of it with my class in school, which was quite nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I had to get that in. The girl that supported Scotland, so we did a sweepstake in school, and the girl that got Scotland was not happy. So
I wonder why.
Watched that. That was quite good. Yeah, I know. So that was quite nice. And then I've watched as much as possible. So any game that's been available, I have been watching. I've been trying to get my boy into it as well. He's only 2 years old, so he's struggling a little bit. But do you know what? I've absolutely loved it. I think I was really worried before this tournament started that we'd get a lot of 0-0s, a lot of 1-0s, where teams were really just putting men behind the ball because they watched Portugal win the Euros, having 3 draws in the group stage. And actually, we haven't really seen that. I feel like some of the top teams have really come out flying straight away. So I think it makes it way more exciting for us. I think it makes it way more exciting for fantasy football. So yeah, I've been really happy so far.
Yeah, it's almost like every game's been 0-0 at half time, hasn't it? Every game's, I think, except for Belgium, maybe. And did we score in the first? I can't remember. But only a couple of teams have scored quite early.
No, second half,
yeah. So most games have gone at 0-0, but still been quite good games. Like, there's been chances, and then the second halves of the games have just been absolutely unbelievable. Across, I mean, the Netherlands Ukraine game was, that was a game that I think we tipped to be quite exciting, with the Dutch and Ukraine having exciting teams. And
we did.
Rarely does a fixture like that deliver on the promise that you kind of, hope for. But I've enjoyed every game for different reasons. Like I said, bar the Finland Denmark game. Italy got us off to a great start. I thought. I'm going to ask you who your kind of standout performers are. I think Italy are mine, just because they've seemed the most fluid team to me. Yeah. I can't really remember a performance like theirs in the second half, where the whole team is just pushing forward and coming back, and they seem to be so in sync. Which I think Luke said on Twitter earlier, it's like they've been playing together for like years and years and years, and that's the sense that I got. I really liked watching them play. Who have you liked watching? Who do you think's impressed?
There's 3 or 4 teams actually. Italy are the team I've liked the most so far. The way they controlled their game and the intensity they played with as well, to the 90th minute too. I absolutely love watching them play, and I really did think Turkey would be a bit tough for them, and they just came out flying. I was so impressed. I'm a little bit worried in terms of their goals being spread out a bit. I feel like that whole front 4 could do well. But their defense, Spinazzola, Adam in my team captain in that first game, that first match day, and he stays my captain all week. We said about it, didn't we? If he gets me a clean sheet and assist, I'd stick on him. I did, and I actually feel quite good about that, to be honest. I genuinely do love Italy. I feel like Italy could go quite far. I don't think they'll have quite enough to win the whole thing, but in terms of assets, I really like them. I think Holland, from an attacking sense, I quite like them. not defensively at all, although Dumfries did really well. But I do really like them in an attacking sense. I think the fact that Depay didn't do anything, but they scored 3 goals is actually really encouraging.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they could again score 3 goals in the next 2 fixtures. You never know. And I feel like Depay is definitely going to be involved. I think Depay was so heavily picked in every single format that it's nice for him to maybe to be taking a bit of a hit at the moment, and maybe people are second guessing getting him in, and then all of a sudden you can start, getting a bit more gains from him. And then the other 2 teams I'm going to mention, Belgium, because Belgium didn't impress me that much, yet they won 3-0, which I feel like teams that start slow and build up in this tournament usually do really well. And if they're starting slow and they're winning 3-0, like Italy, I thought this was Italy was a performance I thought that's like match day 2, match day 3 performance when you're really starting to build up. Whereas Belgium, this is them starting slow and they're winning 3-0. I mean, unless they rotate massively in match day 2, I feel like match day 3, I feel like in match day 2 they could put Denmark to the sword, unfortunately.
I know.
And then it's kind of a mix up then between Ukraine. I was quite impressed with. I thought Ukraine, although they lost, I really liked them. I think who else did I like? Spain defensively, because they had about 90% possession, so I think they're going to keep a lot of clean sheets. And Sweden, I thought Sweden played well. I was quite impressed with them, actually. I think Isaac and Forsberg are going to be quite close to my team.
I don't know if you've heard of Isak before. He's a bit of an unknown sort of quantity.
I got some stick for that, didn't I?
You really did.
I got some stick for that.
I was there jabbing a knife in, don't worry.
I know you were. Do you know what? It's one of those things, I've always said it. I'm someone that's happy to say when I don't know something. I'm not somebody that will just go, oh yeah, no, I know who that is, and pretend. Like, I don't play footy, man. I don't play FIFA. I'm a dad. I don't have time for it. And I just thought, I don't know who it is. I'm gonna confess it, and that didn't go down very well.
It was a great performance from Sweden. I thought, they rode their luck at times, but at the same time, I think Spain did too. I mean, Berg should have scored. I think that's one of the worst misses I think I've ever seen with the work Isak did. Beat 4 players and put it on his foot, and he for him to kind of miscontrol it. And then the shot that Isak had again when he shot and ricocheted off and hit the post or whatever it was. It was they had chances in that game. They were knackered at the end. I mean, all down with cramp and stuff. But it was a hell of an effort. So I it's funny, isn't it? A game like that, like 0-0 game, but it still had so much action and drama to it. Every game has had something. And it's interesting as well. The teams you mentioned there. So Sweden, Belgium, Ukraine, all these teams go into the next match day with good fixtures as well. We've got like North Macedonia in there. I think Denmark, unfortunately, has now got to be classed as a good fixture because we don't know what state their heads are going to be in. They've lost their kind of talisman player. It's that they've gone from a team who I think a lot of people were tipping to really kick on in this tournament. And obviously, I really want them to. It'd be an amazing story, but I just feel that, going straight into a game against Belgium, having just lost 1-0 to Finland, it's not, they could have done with one of the, the other easier fixture on that.
Yeah, I spoke about Denmark a little bit in another video I did, and it's either going to go one or two ways. They're either going to be really resolute and do it for Ericsson kind of thing, or their hearts and heads are just going to be out of this tournament. And it's not like they've got an easy fixture up next either in Belgium. And you just look at it and think, I don't feel like Belgium are going to take pity on them and only win 1-0. I think it could be an absolute drubbing potentially. So I think completely just thinking with your head and not your heart. I do completely agree with you. I think you're going to have to target them now because it sounds horrible, doesn't it? But in the same respect, other people are going to do it.
It's a ruthless game at times, fantasy football, and this is one of those examples. Yeah, it is a shame, but yeah. Well, okay, let's lift the mood a bit now. Let's lift a bit of mood. Yeah. Let's talk about our match days. Do we call them? I guess we call them match days now. Of points.
Yeah, we're getting into the swing of it, mate. We're calling them match days.
Calling them match days. Yeah. So I've just stuck mine on the screen. We won't spend too long on these. I doubt too many people care. It's been an okay week for me. Obviously, I had Lukaku captain. Herediki, out of the ruins of that game came a 13-point haul. So that was That was nice, but not really too many other points. I mean, Pau Torres came on, but blanks for the likes of Kane, Carrasco, Zielinski, Souček. So yeah, not amazing, but a decently average start. So yeah, can't complain too much. Looking at yours,
Hiradeki, by the way. Hiradeki, by the way.
I know.
God,
what a. I mean, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, it's one of those ones where I said it, like, if you've got this opportunity to have two really cheap goalkeepers, you've got the kind of double chance of hitting a kind of, I don't want to call it lucky, but I mean, it was lucky. I mean, there's no way I was expecting any of the events from that match. And it was, Bachmann actually did worse, concede anyway. Austria couldn't even keep a clean sheet in that game. So yeah, feels a bit ropey, that one, but yeah, I'll take it for now. So your team, Spinazzola captain, yeah. So lots of videos, lots of talk about captains. We talked about on the videos. Is that your kind of tactic then? 9 points or above is a hold.
Yeah, completely. I feel justified there. When you look at Ronaldo and Lukaku, yes, they both got 10 points. But then you look at some of the other captains, Kane, Depay, Lewandowski, all getting you 2 points. I feel quite good about the fact that Spinazzola, yes, I missed out on 2 points, but I gained those points literally in the first day. And I didn't have to worry about captaincy the rest of the week. I was more than happy with that. So I think there's a lot of people out there that were really worried about captaincy, every single day, and actually probably got saved by Ronaldo on the last day. And I don't think every week's going to happen like that. I feel like, yes, Ronaldo was a lovely captain to have on the last day this week, but it's not going to be there every week. So, yeah, I'm more than happy. I feel like 9 points was the one. I think if I was on Insigne with 8, I would have switched, because then you're looking at more of a 4-point difference, which does make a difference. But for me, 2 points, I'm happy with that.
The casuals pick Ronaldo.
Yeah,
I'm in a mini league with someone. He didn't understand the rules. He didn't set his team up by date. He just left the captain on Ronaldo. His team was all over the place. Of course, he gets 2 goals in the last 5 minutes, a penalty and a goal, just as Luke, aka Disable, predicted. Despite my gentle ribbing of him.
Gentle.
Yeah, maybe not so gentle. Yeah, so we had a question in the chat from Nuclear Atoms who mentions Ericsson, so kind of replacements. I mean, we're going to be talking about our Limitless drafts in a second, but is there anyone, obviously you're going to be, are you wildcarding in Matchday 3, or are you?
I am, mate. Yeah, sticking with it.
Okay, well, let's not ask you about that then. So if you were just going to sob Ericsson out this week, you got, what is he, 9 million? You kind of got your pick of a lot of players. Who do you reckon? Any names spring to mind?
Do you know what? I don't think I would go for somebody that was around the same price. I think I would be going for Forsberg or Malinowski, personally.
Yep.
I think I'd be going for one of those two, because they've got lovely fixtures. I really like the look of them in their first game as well, and I feel like they're probably the players I would go for as a bit of upside, because I don't think they're going to be very highly owned either. And I think a lot of people would have set their teams up for match day 1, and they probably won't touch them again after that. So I feel like if you're going for teams that had bad fixtures in the first game week and now have nice fixtures and are good players and talismans for their team, I think you can't go wrong, really. Yeah.
How much is it? So I think Sterling's 9.5, isn't he? So if you are doing a bit of a switcheroo, I guess you could move to him. I mean, let's talk about Sterling. Let's talk about England. We mentioned England. What did you make of that game? It was a bit laboured at times, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit laboured. I thought we started really well. To be honest, I'm thinking about England at the moment, less so from a fantasy perspective and more so from a real life perspective. And I feel like we are doing exactly what we need to do.
Live in the real world, not the fantasy world.
Yeah, and we're doing exactly what we need to do. The problem is doing exactly what we need to do maybe isn't great for our fantasy assets. I think Sterling was a great shout if you went for him at the beginning, because we all said he was probably the one that was going to play, even though we thought he might not. I think Kane looked a little bit devoid of service at times.
A little bit.
I would say. Yeah.
A little bit. He was awful.
Yeah, but I mean, you had him in your team, mate. I'm surprised you did it. When we were talking, I didn't think you were going to go for it in the end. Yeah,
I knew I'd want him for 3, really, which was the main reason. I didn't want to have to kind of bank a transfer in for that. And I thought...
France goal.
Oh, really? Who scored that?
Yeah, Benzema.
Oh, damn it. He's
naughty.
He's on my shopping list in fan team.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Kane could get something. I wasn't expecting a big haul from him, but he was poor. I mean, Gareth Southgate substituting him. I would not have thought Southgate would have the cojones to do that.
Yeah, I was shocked at that.
So was I, and he did. I mean, he did. Again, from a real life perspective, he did some things well. Like, he's the way he held up the ball at times. He won a couple of fouls, but he didn't exactly look like an elite striker. Desperate for goals. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah. I think genuinely, I think we're almost going into this tournament thinking I think we talked about the fact that Kane would want the golden boot and he'd want to just be thinking about goals and stuff. But I almost feel like we've got a real sense of doing it for the team and making sure the system works. And that's great, like I said, for England, but not so great for fantasy when we're picking their players.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And, it's all a bit of Trippier over at left back and Walker playing. I've got no idea who's going to start there. I still think Stones is the one to pick. He was down with cramp as well after 80 minutes. Seems to be a bit with him. It's hot though, bloody hot in over here at the moment. If you can't tell, I'm absolutely sweating. But I think it was. I think who was I listening to that was saying it was the worry is like is that it? Like we've come against like decent opposition. We were laboured. We just about got through. Is that the peak of what we can do, or is there loads more to come from our players?
Yeah, it's what. By the way, it was an own goal. I was looking at it wrong. It's right next to me, the TV, so I got it wrong. I think, as I said, I think teams that start slow is absolutely fine. I feel like there are some teams that start very, very quickly and then peter off very quickly as well. So starting slow isn't an issue for me. I think I'm going to be targeting England this week, against Scotland. The way Scotland played, they were unlucky, but I feel like we can get at them. And I feel like that's not going to be a 1-0 win.
Got a midfielder in goal as well, which, helps Scotland.
Yeah, very true.
I don't know what
all those memes for him, bless him.
God, I don't know what he did. The Spider-Man one's my favourite.
Yeah, I know.
Right, let's talk Limitless, Len. I'm afraid to say that I think this is going to be a bit of a theme in any kind of Limitless video anyone watches. They're going to be quite similar.
Yeah,
it's kind of the main guys, and then a couple of others. I think there's just teams with two good fixtures that we can't really ignore. Everyone's going to go 3 France. I think you're going to grab a couple of England, and then you've got the kind of the marauding defenders that we've seen: Spinazzola, Meunier, Dumfries. So my team is Courtois in goal, Spinazzola, Meunier, Zinchenko, Dumfries, Forsberg, Malinowski. So both the players you mentioned. Insigne, Mbappe, Kane, Lukaku, and then Olsen, Pogba, Pavard and Sterling. So pretty dull, I'm not going to lie. I debated having extra graphics on this stream with different kind of differential teams, 3 front, you could go Griezmann, Mbappe and Benzema up front or something like and mix it up. But I kind of just wanted to show what we both kind of put together without that kind of not trying to be different just for the sake of it. And I think a lot of the players that we're going to talk about here are kind of key players for this Limitless chip. And don't forget, there's going to be people that don't play it as well. I mean, Meunier. Let's talk about Meunier because he didn't even start.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's pretty nailed to start now. I think Castagna
definitely
ruined his eye socket, didn't he?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason we were all thinking about picking Meunier as well was he's just so attacking.
Yeah.
He really is. He got the goal, he got the assist, he got the clean sheet as well. I mean, he's such a good pick. I think, I completely understand why you got him in your Limitless. I'm pretty sure I do as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, wing-backs are... It's always been about wing-backs. I mean, one of my fantasy teams, I've got a team of pretty much wing-backs. We've got Meunier, Dumfries, Robertson. And you just watch, I mean, Robertson in that game we knew he was going to be Scotland's kind of main attacking threat, but he was brilliant in that match. He was unlucky not to come away from that. So there's this kind of, difference in opinion of do we just go ultra cheap at the back? And that was a strategy that I was looking at with, like I had Denayer and Pau Torres and stuff and other kind of 4.5 assets. But now I'm looking at players like Meunier, Dumfries, Spinazzola around that 5.56 mark. I'm thinking these guys are going to be pretty. I don't think these are one-off like calls. They look so central to the attacks of their team.
Yeah, I mean, I look at your back line, and don't get me wrong, I love your back line. Do you know the one that I least like?
Pavard?
No, it's not actually.
Zinchenko?
I love Spinazzola. Meunier's great. I think Zinchenko is a fantastic pick for that week. I think against North Macedonia, he doesn't play at the back. He plays, high up on the left, doesn't he? It's Dumfries for me.
Don't like Dumfries.
Do you know why? I feel a little bit like that might be chasing points, mainly because this Netherlands defense isn't going to be keeping clean sheet, no matter who they're playing against. Like, they're so weird at the back, and I feel like the others are almost guaranteed clean sheets, and I feel like he's the one that's not. Yes, he's going to be attacking, but I personally would rather double up on Italy defense than have Dumfries in there.
Interesting. So you're not backing Switzerland to spoil that party.
No, genuinely not. I feel like Italy and Spain are very, very similar in the fact they're going to keep so much possession and stop the other team playing so much. I honestly fancy both of them just to keep 3 clean sheets in the group stages.
It's looking more likely than I thought it would. I know a few people have been saying that sort of before the Turkey game, and I was thinking, nah, surely not. But Switzerland and Wales both looked pretty toothless, I thought, in that draw. I don't think Italy are going to have any problems progressing. I think you're right. It'd be interesting to see when they play, some better teams. I thought that group would be really tight, but I think Italy are just way too good. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Dumfries is someone that he just got my bum out my seat. He just got the ball and he was just attacking, marauding forward. And I just thought, this is exciting. And that is why I've always loved wing backs so much, because it's literally like you're cheering on a winger with the potential for clean sheet as well. Yeah, interesting. So yeah, in midfield, Forsberg against Slovakia. Obviously, we saw him taking all the set pieces for Sweden. Slovakia, though, that was got to be the surprise result, right, of the thing. I don't think anyone was really tipping them to beat Poland like that.
No, not at all. And was there somebody on a video somewhere that said Lewandowski probably wouldn't be very good this year?
Oh, I don't remember. Don't remember that.
No, don't remember. No. Oh, no worries then. No, yeah. No, to be fair, Slovakia did play well. Is it that Mac scored a cracking goal, didn't he? So yeah, no, I fair play to him. I thought they did really well. I feel like because Sweden drew that first game, I feel like they're going to attack this next game, and I feel like this is the game they could do quite well in. And so yeah, I'd be all over Forsberg. Really like that pick.
Yeah, and for Slovakia as well, Hamsic was great. Rolling back the years, really, really strong performance. I mean, Skriniar as well got the goal. He was someone that I said was a defender who I think looks ready to. I don't want to keep overselling the Premier League, but I think Skriniar could play at any top club. I think City, he'd be a great signing for City if they did let Laporte go, for example, who might want to play football. And Malinowski, someone else I've been kind of banging on about for ages. I mean, I actually replied to your tweet and said, oh yeah, I really like the look of Malinowski. And then someone else to me was like, he's not unknown. He's been tearing up in Serie A as well. I was like, oh no, fall into Andy's trap.
In the mud.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, again, it's similar to Forsberg. He's got that dead ball threat. We saw his free kick, got the assist to that. Yaremchuk is someone who I did have in my Limitless draft. I think he could be a really good differential because he looked really, really good in that match. Or someone like Juba as well of Russia potentially looked pretty good. But yeah, I'm going for Malinowski just because I think, again, he's one of those players where everything just kind of seems to flow through him.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's the player. I've had a few people ask me what Ukrainian players I would be going for, and it is Malinowski for me, mainly because I just if I'm ever wondering which way I'm going to go, I usually go for the talent, and he looks like the talent in that team, and he looks like the player that could perform no matter what the fixture. And a lot of people have been saying, "Oh no, you should be going Yarmolenko," but I feel like yes, Yarmolenko got the goal. But at the same time, Malinowski was the heartbeat of everything happening, and he took that free kick. It was a beautiful free kick, wasn't it? And I just look at it and think I think he's the pick for me out of all of them.
Yeah, I agree. And then up front, I've just gone ultra expensive. I think there is potential here. I think if you're brave and you maybe don't worry so much about the fact you've got a limited budget and you do kind of look around and shop around for some other forwards, I think it's not a given that these three are going to be the high scoring players in the week. But
it's true.
It's hard to ignore Mbappe, Kane, and Lukaku. So yeah.
And also, if we're looking at it in terms of, this is our summer where we want to have a bit of fun. what other time in your life are you going to be able to own Mbappe, Kane, and Lukaku in a fantasy game?
I know.
Like, it's good fun, isn't it? And you're going to be captaining pretty much all of them as well. So I think it's cracking, mate.
But it's interesting as well. Like you got those three up front. My defense is expensive. I mean, Spinazzola, Muniz, Zinchenko, Dumfries, Pavard. They're all 5.5 or above. And then my midfield. I mean, looking at Forsberg, Malinowski, Insigne, and Sterling. I mean, none of those are premium picks. None of them are over 10. I think it just shows there is a bit of a dearth of midfield options. I think in this game, like the real premium picks.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Especially, well, I suppose the big one that could potentially come back in and could get in there is De Bruyne, isn't it?
He's trained today, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's a bit too risky for me personally. I'd rather have, especially with all the players that seem to be going off at half time and things. I feel like it's a bit risky for me. But if you're chasing upside, then yeah, why not?
Yep, absolutely. So let's go through your team. I think everyone will see that it's pretty similar. You've got Courtois in goal, like me. You've gone for Simon. I went for the Swedish goalkeeper Olsen. He was absolutely incredible in that game. Absolutely amazing. You've got Spinazzola captain again. Love that.
Yes.
The marauding left back. Fastest player in the tournament so far, I think, clocked at the high speed.
Yeah, I saw that. Love that. Honestly, he's my new favourite player.
Yeah.
Absolutely love him. Yeah.
That's what I said. This is what I love about these tournaments. You get these like heroes emerging from though I'd never heard of him. Honestly, I think
don't say that.
Well, I know, God, he played against United, didn't he? He was at Roma, and when they conceded,
went off injured, didn't he?
Yeah. But I didn't. Well, I had heard of him. I didn't know much about him. I know there was worries about him being rotated with Emerson and stuff, and he put in an absolute masterclass of a performance in that.
He did. He was brilliant as well. He almost scored as well.
Yeah, I know. He was.
Yeah,
he's like,
loved him.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. He's just one of those players you just watch and just like, oh, this is amazing. And then you've gone for Mooney. You've got Bonucci. So you've gone double Italy. True to your word.
Yeah, I'm not completely sold on Bonucci yet. Mainly because there's no real attacking upside there. So I'm looking at it and wondering whether I do want double Italy defence, but Bonucci. I look at your wing backs and think, I'm really tempted to go with someone like Zinchenko now. I saw him in your team there and thought, I really like that pick actually. So he might change for me, to be honest. I do want double Italy defence, but at the same time, I think I might go with Zinchenko. I think that's a good pick from you.
Thank you very much. High
No
praise.
worries,
High praise. Andy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's just when you've got the Limitless, I think just going for the really attacking fullbacks. So I look at Bonucci then, I think that's a bit safe. Like you could.
No, I know.
And I think we've already seen from the likes of the wing backs, Meunier and Dumfries and stuff, is the potential for the hauls they can get. You've got Alba there as well, so that's an interesting one. I thought he was played well.
I did, yeah. I thought it was like Alba of old, actually.
Yeah.
I think the amount of times I saw him on the left-hand side of the opponent's box, and I was like, yes, that's exactly where I want one of my players. It was just like Spinazzola, really. So, like I said, I expect Spain to keep a lot of clean sheets in this tournament. I thought Poland were really struggled, and I don't see a reason why Spain can't do the same against Poland. I thought Spain did have times when they looked a little bit shaky, but if they're going to have 70 to 80% possession every game, they're going to be keeping clean sheets. I told you before that we aired actually that Torres is in my team, and I think he will most probably be coming out.
I was surprised to see
don't
him.
like them. I don't like him. I made this draft before I saw the Spanish game, and I didn't like them in an attacking sense at all. So I think he'll most probably be coming out, and I'll probably go for someone like Malinowski or something like that, and potentially. But I think Alba and Simon I'm quite happy with. I think doubled Spain defence is quite nice to be able to bring on at some point. Yeah,
so you're sort of saying how good my defence looks, and I'm sitting here thinking, actually, I agree with you about Spain. They should win that game against Poland. I can't see Poland scoring in that if they can't score. Well, they can score against Slovakia, but didn't exactly look good. So a couple of interesting picks here. So we've already talked about Forsberg and Insigne stuff, but you've mentioned Ferran Torres. Foden's there and Sterling. So you've gone triple England against Scotland. Phil Foden's an interesting one. You think he'll keep his place?
Yeah, I do. I think I think he's going to start with exactly the same team, but I think the left back will change. I think Shaw or Chilwell will come in instead of Trippier. And I think it will be, Kane, Sterling and Foden still starting in that front three. I thought Foden was great. There was nothing wrong with Foden. I think he's starting slow, but I think he's that kind of player you need to be able to play and need to start. Otherwise, he's not going to build that confidence up. And then what's the point of having him? I think he is earmarked, Rashford, Sancho didn't even make the squad, did he?
No.
He's earmarked those other players as kind of impact players. And Foden, Sterling will most probably be his starters. Don't know what's going to happen in match day 3. This is just thinking about match day 2, but I would be surprised if it wasn't the same 6 up top. Personally, I feel like Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Calvin Phillips.
Yeah,
more advanced.
It was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Best player on the pitch. And I just think you can't drop him after that.
No way.
Like, genuinely, I would be absolutely shocked if he does. I thought Rice does exactly what you need from an England player. And then Mount, I thought, was great as well. There were times I was watching, I was thinking, God, Mount is such a good player.
So much energy.
And then you have to play Kane. Pardon?
Just so much energy Mount had. It's just what he brings, and he was operating deeper as well because he's so versatile. He could switch over to the left if we need, over to the right.
And he's classy when he's on the ball as well.
Yeah.
And then Sterling, I feel like, is a form player. I feel like if there's anybody that could play all 3 games, it could be Sterling, because he's that kind of player that needs confidence. So I think Sterling could do well again. And Foden, like I said, I don't see any reason why Foden can't play. He is probably the one out of all of them that might miss this game, but I just don't see it. I don't see why he would change it.
Well, the thing is with Foden, if Sancho's still injured, we've got no one else on the right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it kind of almost locks him in. If Sancho's not there, Greenwood didn't make the squad. I mean, Rashford went over to the right again, which I couldn't believe that actually happened. And Southgate not watched any Man United games all season. Yeah. I think Mount went over there for a little bit, but there's no reason why any of them would start over Foden, I don't think. So I agree with you. I think from an incredibly what looked like kind of unsettled squad, I think most of the positions there's no need to change.
Completely agree.
Yeah. So I do like the look. I mean, Calvin Phillips is someone who I did like the look of, because I don't think we can judge him as being the Leeds defensive midfielder. He was advanced. Yeah. He was involved in absolutely everything.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a big haul.
Yeah, reminded me a bit of McTominay at times for United. He seemed to be that proper box-to-box midfielder and getting forward. So it was, I genuinely, I really liked him. I don't think I'd be picking him in my team because I don't think the upside's there. I don't think he'll be getting you more than like 1 goal or 1 assist, like if he does do anything. But fair play to him. He played really well.
I wasn't expecting him to start. It was a shock when I saw him in the team alongside Rice. I thought 2 defensive midfielders, very negative, but had a plan for him.
It's almost like Southgate knows what he's doing.
I saw Trippier at left back, and I saw Phillips playing, and I was like, not too sure about this. I mean, again, we can't get carried away. It wasn't an amazing performance, but it was enough. We
need to stop talking about England. We need to stop talking about England.
Well, you've got 3 of them in your Limitless team, so we kind of got to touch them.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you've got 3 in your team, you must be pretty confident they're going to batter Scotland. So I'm sure all the Scottish people.
I feel like it's going to be a bit of a goal fest. Yeah, I think they could potentially score. By the way, but because actually they were unlucky not to score.
Yeah.
But I feel like we could easily score against them. So that's why I've gone with the 3 attackers rather than any defenders.
I wouldn't be going with any England defenders in this. I think maybe people from other countries don't know the rivalry between Scotland and England, don't quite know how much this means. I think especially to Scotland, you can see it from the comments and the chat and the comments we've had on some of the videos. Like, Scotland just want to do us over in that. They are going to be so fired up for this game. I watched the highlights of was it the last match we had when they scored in like the 90th minute, and then we ran down the pitch and put it on Kane's head, and he scored the winner. And I think it was Strachan just head in his hands, almost in tears, because he was so upset. But yeah, it should be a really good game. Lastly, so you've gone Mbappe and you've gone Griezmann. So you've gone for no Lukaku, despite you're saying about Denmark and how they might be a team to target.
Yep.
You've not gone for Lukaku. Come on. In the stream, talk to me about that.
I think Lukaku is... I'm going to own Lukaku in pretty much every other game week in this tournament. And I love the idea of double France against Hungary. I thought Hungary looked... Actually, they genuinely looked really good against Portugal for all of, 60, 70 minutes. And then capitulated as soon as the goal was scored.
Yeah, absolutely.
France, I think, are a better team than Portugal. And if they get an early goal, it could be any score. And I think... Mbappe running in behind. I feel like Griezmann with the penalties. I don't see. I if I could, and Kane wasn't playing against Scotland, I would have Mbappe, Griezmann, and Benzema.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I feel like having them in a week where they're playing against Hungary. I love that.
Yeah, so do I, and I'm half tempted. I genuinely am. I don't think I want to go without Lukaku, but I am tempted to do similar to what you're doing, and
Yeah.
I think Kane is a strong option. But I do think that France game could be the first mauling that we see, unless there's one sort of earlier on. But yeah, no, I do really like it. So just having a look through, we've got 7 players different out of the 15. So it's not too bad. I mean, I did think originally our teams were pretty much identical, but there are clearly ways that you can differentiate. I think as well,
I think so.
With these chips as well, remember that there's fewer match days, so actually going all in on like 3 or 4 teams could be a good pick. Like if you think Italy are going to win, if you think Belgium are going to win, grab 3 Belgium, grab 3 Italy, grab 3 France. That's 9 of your teams sorted.
Yeah.
You could really kind of go for that kind of strategy if you wanted to, or just go for what we're doing. And actually, I'm quite happy to spread it out because it's just given me even more enjoyment from watching the matches, even though I'm already enjoying them anyway. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
right?
and just make sure you've got those captains on each match day as well, because I think some people might potentially bring in only 3 or 4 teams worth of players. Just make sure you've got those captains as well, because we've all seen what it's like if your captain doesn't bang on day one. You're chasing those captaincies the whole time, aren't you? So I mean, I look at it and I'm quite happy. Spinazzola as my captain for that first match day. I think I've got to carry that on, haven't I? So I'm fairly happy with this. Like I said, I think Torres will probably leave, and I'll replace him with someone like Malinowski, and then Bonucci might potentially become Zinchenko, and then we've only got 5 players different then. So
yeah, that's true. That's boring. Talk through into Zinchenko. That's one. Yeah. Just to follow up what you said, I think the kind of the message for me is when you're doing your transfers, back yourself to know who's playing who. I think if you're watching this video, I'm sure you know the fixtures and who's playing what. But if you're doing Limitless, you could just switch that filter to date, and just make sure that your dates are all kind of staggered out across the week, because that is something really, really vital. I think just making sure that you've got options across the different games. No, that's it from me, Andy. Thanks for joining me again.
No problem. Cheers for having me.
I think we'll probably do next time. We'll be going into match day 3.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
Our next one, that'll be fun. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you soon.